Hurt Deion Sanders sends forward powerful response to Ryan Clark after NFL's ugly Shadur Sanders agenda exposed. Deion Sanders watched both of his sons take gut punches during the 2025 NFL Draft. Shadur, once a projected first-rounder, tumbled all the way to the 144th pick. Shiloh didn't hear his name called at all. And for all the numbers Shadur stacked in college, it wasn't his film that dragged him down. It was perception. Suddenly, confidence became arrogance. Swagger became a problem. Whispers about his interviews, stories about headphones in meetings, and claims of being unprepared took over the conversation. And for a father who's coached every down of his son's college career, it felt like watching a narrative be written by people who never stepped into their huddled, "It did hurt," Sanders said recently on Asani Samuel's Say What Needs to Be Said podcast. There was some foolish stuff that went on, but it gave them the edge they needed. He went on to say, when you sit up there and say something like, he went in a meeting unprepared. Like, dude, Shadur Sanders, who has had 6 different coordinators, who has still functioned and went up, leveled up. Every time we brought somebody new in, and you're going to tell me he had on headphones. Discussing it on the Pivot podcast, Ryan backed Deion Sanders' reaction and expressed his frustration with the entire narrative that influenced Shadur Sanders' draft fate. And Coach Prime made sure he acknowledged Ryan's support, taking to X to express his gratitude with a heartfelt message that reads, "Amen, my brother, amen." Well, this gratitude makes sense. Why? Because Ryan Clark exposed the NFL's double standards, highlighting how the evaluation was never about Shadur's caliber, but rather about a notion that could never be proven. Now it's not about the actual evaluation, it was the chatter, it was the conversation around him. So many things about Shadur during the draft process were character, 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 personality, 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 and all these things that we can't prove on the outside, right? But me, hey, maybe he doesn't have the speed to extend place. Maybe he doesn't have the rocket arm, like some of these dudes, but every report was about something we couldn't refute, also something folks couldn't prove, Clark said. That's right, it was never about Shadur's records on the field, which sit high with 14,353 yards and 134 TDs with a 70% completion rate during his college career, but about how he is off it. And that's what became Deion Sanders' helplessness of not being able to support his kids. On one side, Shadur was dealing with all the trash talk, and at the same time, Shiloh Sanders' draft fate also took an ugly turn. As he went undrafted into the league, he was later acquired by the Buccaneers. I feel like Deion's hurt also comes from him always being able to take care of his kids as a father and having a little bit of a feeling that some of this is because of me, and I can't take it away from him. You know how it is as dads, man. It's like you want all the good for your kids and none of the bad. And then when anything's bad, that's why kids cry, right? Ryan highlighted. And Deion finally got to a point where he was like, damn, I can't do it. And I think that's difficult to do. But looks like things are finally working in Sanders' favor. Deion Sanders' hurting might finally end. Despite being a 5th-round pick, 144th overall, in the 2025 NFL Draft, Shadur Sanders is generating significant buzz. Many experts saw him as a higher prospect. Now with the Cleveland Browns, he's competing with veteran Joe Flacco and fellow rookie Dylan Gabriel, a 3rd-round pick. With Deshaun Watson sidelined by a re-ruptured Achilles tendon surgery, Sanders might finally get a chance to shine. At least his rookie camp translates a similar notion, but Shadur Sanders' camp moves are already generating a lot of buzz. As ESPN Cleveland's Aaron Goldhammer shared his strong endorsement of Sanders' potential to be the Browns starter. I have come to a realization, oh boy, by the time we get to September. I think there's a way Shadur Sanders starts the first game, Goldhammer said. Aaron didn't just praise Sanders' practice performances, but also made a bold admission. Now that I've seen some videos and talked to a bunch of people in multiple practices, I think Shadur Sanders was the best quarterback out there yesterday. Well, despite the buzz around Shadur Sanders, the competition still remains fierce as veteran Joe Flacco holds a lead in the quarterback race. As per Zach Jackson of The Athletic, Flacco throws the ball in a practice setting better than any of them. Add his overall experience, and he's the favorite to win the job. Meanwhile, rookie Kenny Pickett's struggles in practice highlight Sanders' impressive performances, solidifying his chances even more. as the Browns prepare for training camp. It looks like things might finally turn in Shadur Sanders' favor. Warren Sapp ties his football legacy to late Miami legend in gut-wrenching admission. It's kind of a personal thing. Athletes are often synonymous with the numbers on the back of their jerseys. From Michael Jordan's number 23 to Cristiano Ronaldo's number 7 across the pond. What seem like hollow digits become an extension of your identity. But these aren't hollow digits at all. They almost always hold weight. Jersey numbers are woven not only with threads and needles, but with sentiments and stories. There's generally some emotion attached to why certain players pick their numbers and then stick to them. The reasons could range from being a homage to their favorites, superstition, wanting to add to a historic lineage associated with the said number, or, in a more modern sense, their brand and its marketability. But this is still pretty surface level. Hofer and every quarterback's nightmare, Warren Sapp, has a much deeper reason behind his iconic number 99 strip. Baked into said reason are grief, mourning, and pride alike. Before he was inducted into Canton, he donned that gold jacket. Before he had his number 99 jersey retired by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Even before, he was a 6X All-Pro selection, Super Bowl winner, and DPOY. Before all of these NFL accolades, Warren Sapp was already the biggest, baddest battering ram in Coral Gables. The Florida native was a superstar at Miami, where the weighty and profound story of how he came into his jersey came about. Warren Sapp, currently an assistant to Deion Sanders at Colorado, guested on 97.1 The Fan and was asked about the lore behind his number 99. The host mentioned how he expected there to be some sort of emotion attached to the selection, and he was right. Sapp delved into how he didn't pick the number, but indeed it was the number that picked him. A number that was previously worn by a fellow Canes D-tackling sensation who tragically passed away while then 76 Sapp was entering his redshirt freshman year. I was at the University of Miami. They moved me to defensive tackle from tight end. Bob Carmeloix, God bless his soul, and Ed Orgeron looked at me, and they had Coach Cortez Kennedy, Russell Maryland, and Jerome Brown. And they looked at me and said I can be better than all of them, began Sapp. Pause and take a second to see the icons he's mentioning. The coaches as well as the players. Yet, what he said doesn't seem hyperbolic whatsoever. Warren Sapp proceeded to say, the guys kept telling me that I reminded them of Jerome, and Jerome wore number 99. I was never supposed to wear anything else. He passed away the summer of my redshirt freshman year, before I started playing. As aforementioned, Sapp wore number 76 as a rookie before making the switch. It's kind of a personal thing. It was my number from the get-go, and it was there waiting on me when I got to Tampa, continued Sapp. Warren Sapp may have been destined to follow in Jerome Brown's footsteps and continue that legacy anyway. But the circumstances under which this vicarious passing of the baton happened were gut-wrenching. Sapp would have wished he could onboard the number with Brown's blessings. But unfortunately, that wasn't possible. Warren Sapp's predecessor and Miami's fallen hero Jerome Brown met a terrible demise. The U has a storied history with defensive tackles, and Warren Sapp named some legendary ones himself. All of them had different degrees of eminence and success in the NFL, too. This includes number 9 draft pick Jerome Brown, who made 2x Pro Bowls in his first 5 seasons. The last of the 5, mind you, meaning he had found his footing and had a world of momentum behind him. Begrudgingly, these would be Brown's only 5 seasons in the league. The Eagles' stalwart saw his career and life cut short prematurely by a motor accident in June 1992. Jerome Brown, 27, Brown passed away following an automobile accident in Brooksville, Florida. He was accompanied by his 12-year-old nephew, who was also killed in this fateful tragedy. Brown reportedly lost control of his ZR-1 Chevy Corvette and crashed into a tree. A national champion with the Canes in '83, Brown also has his number 99 retired by the Eagles, akin to Sapp's with the Bucks. Terribly morbid but poetic nonetheless. If only Jerome Brown could witness how Warren Sapp, his successor for the Canes in some ways, carried the baton. Alas, number 99 will forever be associated with both these legends down at Miami. This intrinsic bond they inadvertently share remains strong, despite the two likely having no personal relationship whatsoever. That's the power of football, eh? May Brown and his nephew's souls rest in peace.